can't worry about like what your agent down the street, like what they're listing, what their property is like. I feel like you need to focus on yourself. Like once you start worrying about like what all the other agents are doing, like pertaining to social media, how many followers they have, like I don't think that matters. I think you need to like really focus on yourself.
All right, welcome LabCoatAgents. We are going to be talking about how to amplify your business with social media in 2022. And whether you're a seasoned pro or you're just trying to figure out social media, this is a topic that better be on your radar screen. And we've got some experts here to help us through it today. We've got the founder of Very Social, Ryan Garson, here to help us out, talk us through some things. Charlie Mandino, Amanda Piazza, all with Very Social. We're gonna have a very fast conversation. There's a lot of content baked into here. If you've got your questions, make sure you put them in the chat. We'll try and field those. So as usual, you guys just jump right in. But I'm excited to sit back and learn and just go from there. My first question right out of the gate, Ryan, is social for the agent community out there, for LabCoatAgents, it's almost no longer optional. You're going to lose business if you're not engaged in the game, right?
Totally. I just went to the Compass retreat, and Gary Vee was the keynote speaker, and he talks about OGs, professionals that have been in the business for like 30 plus years, 20 plus years. And then he talked about the new agents, and these OG agents that have just been in the industry for so long and doing all these transactions, like they have their set way of doing business, and a lot of them are just not adapting to the new world, to the new marketing, to the way that marketing is being done. And so there's the newbies that are all about being on video and posting on social media and connecting with people through social media. And there's these two demographics that are like kind of going at each other. And Gary Vee said, like, the OGs they're losing market share. The point is, if you're not doing social media, if you're not growing your brand, if you're not being active on social media, if marketing a listing on social media is not part of your marketing strategy, then you're going to probably lose that listing. Like, you need to be on there. You need to be, creating content. And somebody who this works for firsthand, like, I see the results. Like, I am selling real estate on social media, and I'm doing it through Mindshare. I'm posting about a bagel review I did in the Lower East Side, and somebody's commenting and say, "Oh, I love that bagel. It was, the lox there was the best lox." And this is somebody that I sold an apartment to 2 years ago. And then we start to kind of evolve that conversation into, what's going on? You've been there for 2 years. Like, the market is so hot right now. Like, you have a girlfriend now. Do you need a bigger space? Like, that's what social media does. Like, I'm promoting and talking about one thing, but it's just a way to like bring people in my world to have a conversation, which then like leads the leads. Like, I'm not the guy that wants to pick up a phone and cold call or door knock. I'd rather connect with people by creating some sort of content that's like-minded and starts the conversation that way. Like, I don't like to be called. I don't like random people calling me at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm freaking busy. Like, I don't have time for small talk. Like, and it's like, hey, could we schedule a time to talk about what's going on in your life? Like, that just doesn't feel organic to me. That feels very salesy. So it's like, I feel like the new wave of really networking, communicating, and having conversations is through social media.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I want to share something out there. I know some of the participants watching right now are fearful of it. And I just want to put my guard down and let you guys know, 3 years ago, I wasn't active on social media at all. Fast forward to now, you can see the sign for our podcast YouTube channel back here, People, Passion, Power. We've built out the studio, and I hope we're going to get into this. I know we're going to get into the platforms, but my point is, if you're out there and you're afraid of it, that was me 3 years ago. You can pivot pretty quickly. I think you have to do it in an authentic way. And the other quick story I'm going to share with you is I launched a book. This is your captain speaking in April. Never written a book, and I promoted it on social media. And lo and behold, it became an Amazon bestseller. And we just ran it through social media. And I can tell you that we got 6 to 12 deals from this book, which has nothing to do with real estate, much like your bagel story there, Ryan. So there's a lot to it, and I'm afraid for folks that aren't going to play the game, that they might not be in business in 3 or 4 years. You can prove me wrong. I'm cool with that, but I think you need to be playing it. So where do we jump in here? Let's go right to the long-term strategy. Take me through that if you don't mind. Or you want to go with this one, how to make it work for you?
Yeah, first I want to talk a little bit about Very Social and how we can help, agents that are fearful of actually pulling the trigger and posting, to, seasoned agents that, have the content, but they don't want to get in video. There's when I first started Very Social, and we're a social media agency for agents by agents. I did it for really 2 reasons. One, I didn't have the skill set to do it right. I'm not the best copywriter, and I don't really have any design capabilities, but I do know marketing. I know myself, and I know branding. So, I connected with a social media manager, and, she saved me a ton of time by not stressing about is there any spelling corrections? Is the design right? Saved me a ton of time. And, she was great at social media, and the two was just a perfect storm. And it really just helped build my brand and really grow my business. So, one thing when I first started with social media, building this business in my brokerage, they're like, oh, it's competition with the other agents. And I'm like, it's not competition. I felt like I saw a need in the market. And I wanted to help people. We're real estate agents. We have good hearts. We want to help people go from one home to the next, or to find their dream home. We all have really, have empathy and want the best for our clients. But my brokerage fought me on it. Oh, it's competition. It's competition. And here's the big thing. It's not this for me as a broker who started an agency to help other brokers. It's not competition. Because everybody's different. Everyone's got their own personality, their own hobbies, their own passions, their own way of selling real estate, their own expertise. And what we do at Very Social is we take those attributes and push it out and market it and brand it. So it's my social can't be like yours, Jason, or Charlie's or Amanda's. It's not the same thing. We're all posting different things. We all have different network. So, anybody can do it. It doesn't matter if you're just getting started or you're seasoned. What we do at Very Social is we connect you with a social media manager that has expertise in copywriting and design, and is under the Very Social umbrella of just what's going on in real estate, what's trending. We base a lot of our content based on the month, based on the season. We're here to really elevate your social media, build your brand, which leads to leads. So Charlie, why don't we start with you? Charlie actually does my social media. It's one of many jobs that he has, but I haven't posted in probably 2 years. And Charlie's done, I post on the weekends, and you'll notice that I post on the weekends, but all the good curated stuff is all Charlie. So kind of take us through how you can make social media work for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think in terms of having social media work for you, one of the biggest pitfalls is always overthinking your content, or being too scared to start, especially when it pertains to video. Obviously, video is going to be taking over more and more into 2022. So the more you can just get into that, hop on video and, tell your story, do a quick tour of a listing that you're doing, just get face to face with your audience, then that's really important for brand building. I think aside from that, our main kind of point there, just in terms of starting, would be like content pillars, having really well-developed content pillars that really match what you're passionate about and what you're doing on a day-to-day basis, so that you can be creating content around it. For example, and if you'll look now, Ryan's feed is a little bit dense with real estate, some lifestyle stuff, but mostly real estate, just because we've had a lot of events going on and conferences and just like constant content. So we're trying to keep up with that. But typically it's a little bit more of a blend of like family, lifestyle, New York City food, and fashion. So the content can get a little bit diverse. That way we can keep like 70-30, 80-20 to like the professional and lifestyle stuff, just to keep it interesting. Probably a little bit more on the stories, where we can keep it a little bit more diverse. Obviously, people just don't want to be sold to all day. So building that connection, sharing that value is really important.
One of the things I see, we've got it as number one here, and I don't want to go past this one like too fast. Being authentic, I think, does great things for your potential clients, and it does a lot for your own energy as well on the platforms, right? So when you're doing something that you love to do, whether that be a running club or a hiking club or a book club, whatever, and you're posting in that format, it feels a whole lot easier for you to do it. You're going to be more likely to do it when you're authentic. And guess what? In my humble opinion, that's the actual connection point with the potential client anyway. So if you can do it and it doesn't feel forced, then I think that's the win. And that's just, I love that as the number one bullet point right from the start.
Yeah, people can tell when you're not being authentic. And I think like that's really where the conversations are going to start. So the conversations for us, like for real estate agents, are really everything on social media. So if you want to get those conversations flowing and, you know, be able to really connect with people and have your content resonate with them, and honestly, for them to be looking out for when you do post next, being authentic is, you know, the number one thing. And that's why we have it as number one. And then number two is also huge, is being consistent, you know, with your brand, but also the consistent posting, so that, you know, every time you want to be top of mind. And whenever you are consistent for a long period of time and then you fall off, which I think a lot of people tend to do, and then go back up and be consistent for another period of time and fall back off, you know, you lose the momentum. Especially with the algorithm changing consistently, I think consistency is number one or number two.
Got it.
Yeah.
That makes a ton of sense as well. The number five, I'll jump ahead to number five here. Promote your content, but don't over promote it. Tell me, do you guys see
I have a problem with this.
Go ahead.
I mean, you know, I'm a promoter. That was my first job in college. I actually promoted clubs, but I'm a promoter. Like I feel like there's always something that I'm like, you know, I'm selling or I'm promoting. And like, I think going back to number one, like being authentic, you know, it's different when I think I'm like talking to somebody and when I'm on camera and like thousands of people are actually looking at me. Like, that's why I think like being authentic, you know, sometimes it's okay to like stutter or like mispronounce something. And that happens to me all the time. It's actually pretty bad. But I think like that's like what people get, that like I'm trying, you know what I mean? I'm not an actor. Like, I'm a freaking real estate agent. I'm like, I love what I do. I go out there and I make the effort to like create the content, and it's authentic. So I just think you have to be you, you know, you have to be you. Like going back to like where my broker said, you know, this is competent, you're competing, you know, against the broker who sits down. I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, we're different people. Like we're authentic in like our own way. So you just have to be you, and it's not going to be perfect. It's like, if you look at my social, it's totally not perfect. It's just really not, but it's consistent. And, you know, I'm passionate about it, and it resonates. And now it's like, I have a lot of influence. Like you said, you were selling your book, you know, through social media. Like, when I post something, you know, thousands of people reach it. When I go on a listing pitch, I let that seller know, like, when I'm going to be creating content for your listing, and I'm going to be talking about that, and I'm going to be running ads for it that are going to be targeted to that buyer of your home. Like, these are conversations that the OGs aren't having, the OG brokers, but the new young, you know, millennials, the hungry new broker that knows that they need to be on social, need to be running ads. Gary Vee said the number one most underutilized advertising right now is TikTok ads. They're cheap. They're cheap, and you can create the content, and it's, you know, you can get a big bang for your buck. So be authentic and just create the content.
Let me ask this question, and I don't know the answer. Maybe you guys do. What percentage of agents, I'm not talking about at a high level, what percentage of agents do you think at this point in the game have incorporated social as part of their strategy? Is it 25% of agents are incorporating it that high, 30%? What do you guys think? That's just a curiosity. You'd like to think 75%, but there's no way it's that high.
I know that it's low. I don't know an exact percentage, but it's definitely low. You know, there's minimal, I think, agents that I can think of off the top of my head that are like really crushing it on social media right now. I think that's going to change. More people are definitely starting to realize that that's where they need to be. And just like on the very social side of things, the amount of conversations that we're having with people that are starting to realize that they need to be on it too is increasing every day. So I think it's definitely, we're gonna see a shift, but currently I think it's super
Jason,
low.
I don't think that's a good question. No offense, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
But
go ahead.
I don't think it matters. I think it's like, you know, you can't worry about like what your agent down the street, like what they're listing, what their property is like. I feel like you need to focus on yourself. Like once you start worrying about like what all the other agents are doing, like pertaining to social media, how many followers they have, like I don't think that matters. I think you need to like really focus on yourself. You need to like
So
look
that's
at
a
yourself.
great, yep, I love that answer. And thank you for doing that. I was going down that path for a specific reason, because I know a lot of people are sitting out there right now going, it's too late. Everybody's already in the game. My point with that is it's not too late.
It's not too late. It doesn't matter if you have like, you know, 10
Exactly.
followers or 10,000, you know, those like, you know, let's say 100 followers, like those are your people. Like those 100 followers, if you produce a content that you can get, you know, 10% of those 100 followers to like resonate with, maybe they share it to like, you know, their 1,000 followers, like, you know, things can go viral like very quickly if you're authentic and you're consistent with it. So I don't think it matters like who's on it, who's not on it. I think it's like, you know, you can create this content like about you that like it's really a big snowball effect with social media. Like once it keeps on going. So I ran into a client of ours that she's in Greenwich, Connecticut, Greenwich Village Lifestyle. That's the name of her Instagram handle.
So I think it's Greenwich Lifestyle, not
Greenwich Lifestyle. So she started with us at the beginning of 2021 and said, you know, I haven't been doing anything. I'm selling a good amount. Like, I know I need to like really build my brand and like really I want to be the mayor of my community. And, you know, for the last year, we've just been posting for her like 5 days a week, you know, doing like 3 or 4 stories every single day, doing a lot of collaborations with other businesses, restaurants, a lot of community stuff. Clothing stores. She belongs to a club she did a lot of stuff at, and she tripled her business. And she's like, honestly, like I can't say like I got one specific thing from it, but it was like the consistency of the overall marketing. And she says, I've had hundreds of conversations about my social media. She's like, you know, everyone's like, oh, I love what you did at that restaurant. Like, and it's like people that like did business with her, but I don't know if they necessarily did business for her because they saw one post, because we're posting so much, you know. It's about the consistency. It's about being, you know, mind sharing with your followers, your sphere of influence. Like your sphere of influence should all be on your Instagram. They should all be following you. And if you, a little tip for you guys, go through your database, look at all your past clients, look at your friends, look at your friends you went to college with your high school, look at your wife's friends or your husband's friends. Follow those people and engage with them. And then they're going to look at your stuff and they're going to engage back with you. Like, we don't turn on the switch and make your social better. We just help assist in giving you the tools to make it better by working with professionals so it looks better. It's kind of like we're all real estate agents. I'll give an analogy that makes sense for everybody. You're with a seller and they're like, I can do this on my own. I can do this on my own. I can list this house on my own. And you're like, yeah, you probably could, but if you work with a real estate agent, I'll probably get you more money. And here's why, because I work with a team of vendors. And even agents, like it takes a team, it takes a community to sell a home. We work with a photographer, a floor planer, a videographer. I don't write my own copy. I have somebody write my own copy. I run paid ads. Like there's so many different vendors that are part of like selling the home, starting with the seller who has to hire the realtor. And then the realtor is really the quarterback of the whole transaction. But guess what, guys? Social media needs to be part of your vendors that are like selling your home, running your ads, creating the content to like really market that home. And it's so great because you can actually run ads that are targeted to who you think that buyer is. My favorite conversation when I'm talking to sellers is like, who's going to be this buyer? Who is it? Is it a family? Is it a single? Is it a pied-à-terre? So we can actually create the content based on who we think that buyer is, and then run ads targeting them. And then the best part, real quick, is like once we actually sell the listing, we can send out postcards and run social ads saying these are all the things that we did to sell this property. And it's like, I guarantee if, social media marketing is part of that, the pictures, all the things that you do, and like, it's like promoting your success. And you're probably just going above and beyond. Like I always say, there's like traditional marketing and then there's new marketing. And like, with social media marketing, you're kind of getting ahead of it and really targeting who your buyer is rather than waiting for the buyers to come to you. You're being much more proactive.
So there's a word that keeps coming up, and we're going to jump right onto the platforms that I think Very Social absolutely helps with. I think the number one challenge agents have in the business is the word that keeps coming up. It's consistency. 90% of the agents struggle with consistency. And I think if you're not consistent, I know if you're not consistent on some of these platforms, it doesn't work. So I heard you mention earlier, Charlie's posting on your behalf. I want to go deeper into that, just not yet. So Charlie, that question is coming your way. How do you do it on Ryan's behalf so regularly to remove the consistency challenge that most agents, me included, have?
Just real quick, very simple question: why we're not consistent? Because we're not a 9 to 5. Our days are all over the place, and we have 100 different hats. So it's very hard for real estate agents to be consistent with their social media unless they have help, because their days get ahead of them. Like my day, I never know what to expect. Every single day is different. So it's like having someone like Charlie who's like on top of that. Like I know he's running my social. It's peace of mind. It's so important to my business that I needed to be in good hands. And by the way, besides Charlie's like our strategist for Very Social, he's like a marketing director for Very Social, and he does a lot. Like running my social is like one of the many jobs, and there's also like a couple other people that are running all the different mediums that we work on too. So he's got a very big job and he's good at it.
Yeah, that's cool. I do want to hear more about that, Charlie, in a second. Okay, so where do we go? Like, do we start with Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn? How do you even decide, if you're just jumping in, where you start? Which ones?
I'm happy to jump in there. It's just all about looking at, the type of content you're willing to create, and then the platforms that are the easiest to reach the biggest audience. Right now, that's definitely TikTok. So if you're willing to hop on video for anything, I think people always overestimate video and like the effort that it takes, when it could be a 5-second video of you talking or lip syncing or doing like a part of a dance. It really doesn't matter. And you're just building a huge community on there. There's a huge community of agents on real estate that are posting, every day, sometimes multiple times a day. And it's a great community to build with. So I would say that, TikTok, obviously we also love Instagram. So that's an amazing place to grow as well. But I would say the number one place to grow right now, and probably for the foreseeable 2022, is definitely TikTok.
TikTok. Okay.
It's something that, like Gary Vee explained, we haven't seen since like the early days of Tumblr, which is where, it's a platform where you're getting shown things that you like, rather than, it's very curated. It's very personalized. So if there's someone that really likes real estate content, you're going to be on their page. But it's also a place where things are going viral so quickly, and like it could be literally you sitting down drinking a glass of orange juice and you can get like 5 million views and no one can explain it. Like you could literally not even use a hashtag and it can go viral. So when we were at the retreat, he was like, I am giving everyone homework, just post one TikTok video and one of you is going to go viral. And I think everyone sat there like, wow, that's actually crazy. And I'm sure a lot of people did it. I'm not sure who went viral, but the same to everybody watching. Like if everybody were to post a TikTok video right now, I'm sure there's going to be one of you that gets at least over 1,000, probably more views. And it's just because that platform is so, like, the algorithm is something that you haven't seen in a long time. And it's going to consistently change. So it's not going to be this way forever. I think right now is a really great opportunity to just try it out. Like, there's no harm in trying. So try it out, like post a video and see how it goes. And if you're consistent with it, you know, it could be a really great place for you to grow. And then once you have a following on one platform, it's really great to be able to filter out to all the other platforms. So for us working with Very Social, we usually start on Instagram because Instagram connects with Facebook, and, you know, it's just kind of a really great way to hit both of them at the same time. And then, you know, TikTok is something that we want to get all of our clients doing, but people are scared. So I think if you're willing to do it, that's just a really amazing place to be right now.
Got it. And Brian, you're touching on YouTube. You're excited about YouTube as well.
I love YouTube too. I have some of my most viewed videos on there, and now they have the shorts too. And they're there forever. Like I have this one Halloween video that I did like 2 years ago, and like all of a sudden this Halloween it just started getting like a ton more traction. And if you actually do a really good job, like they pay you on YouTube to create this content. And there's some great real estate agents that are on there, like Ken Pozak, Jason Pantana, Tom Ferry, Ryan Serhan. Pretty much anybody on $1 Million Listing like has awesome social media. I just like, I feel like I go to YouTube to like be entertained and to learn. And I think that there's a lot of agents that could kind of do that and like really tell a story about their neighborhood. I think YouTube's a great platform, and LinkedIn is really good too. Just connecting like in the professional market, you know, and it's each content piece is so different, you know, from Instagram, which I think is really like the mainstream. That's what most people are on. Facebook is a little bit more of an older demographic, but both platforms are just really easy to like have a conversation. You usually know these people. You know,
really quick before we get into LinkedIn, because I want to go back to YouTube. Just a tip, because I think I see this a lot with agents, is that like any piece of video content that they create, and 90% of the time it's a listing video that they're not even in, they'll just like start a YouTube channel and put it on their YouTube channel, and you know, that's kind of where it lives. But if you are really looking to get into it, YouTube is the type of thing where you really need to find your niche and stick with it, because, you know, posting a listing video, it's not really going to do much. Like that's really just going to be a place to hold that video so that, you know, you can link it to your listing or whatever. But if you are interested in like really growing on YouTube and generating a following, finding a niche is super important. And real estate is like not niche enough. You know, you need to dig deeper into like what's going to differentiate your channel, because there's a bunch of people that are in real estate on YouTube, but like one might be doing like luxury home tours and another might be, you know, touring different neighborhoods, and they're completely different. So I think like that's just a super important thing to keep in mind if you're interested in trying.
You guys will appreciate this YouTube story. I got 3 kids, and you know, we were watching last night YouTube, and there's someone on YouTube called Sniper Wolf. Unbelievable. So I get caught in the YouTube trap, right? And next thing you know, I'm watching Sniper Wolf for 30 minutes. Oh yeah, she only makes 36 million a year. And all she does is talk about slime and videos on YouTube. It's fascinating. One other thing I'll mention on YouTube is one of the signs behind me, Coffee with Coleman there. My business partner, John Coleman, started that about 2 years ago. He's up to 1,000 subscribers. One of his recent posts was, is the condo market about to crash? And that one did pretty well. So just some good content, just different ways to reach people. I love it. TikTok, we got to get more into TikTok. So other pointers. Yeah, go ahead, Charlie.
Jason, just about what we were saying about consistency, taking it back to TikTok, I mean, video in general. TikTok in particular is really rewarding consistency. So if you're posting videos, it's obviously great to test it out, post your first video. Your first videos can perform really well just because of the way that it's set up. But then beyond that, that consistency is key. So it's like if you're posting 2 to 3 times a day, and then you're actually using TikTok wants to reward that. So they are going to like be boosting your posts a lot extra. They want to actually boost posts from people that are genuinely using the app, not going to the app, posting something and leaving. It's more so for the people that are, spending 2 hours on TikTok a day and then posting 3 TikToks a day. The app's going to do you a lot of favors. So that's definitely something to keep in mind in terms of consistency, but also not something to be overwhelmed of, because we can share that, say you made a value add TikTok, you can share that to YouTube Shorts, you can share that to Instagram stories, you can share that to your Facebook stories, etc. So
take me there, Charlie, because I visualized Ryan shooting a quick video with his phone.
Yep.
He sends it to you and you're distributing it on where? All of these platforms? Walk me through how I could do a video in 30 seconds and it be distributed in 5 different places.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you could go to, let's say, your Instagram stories and record a quick story. Here are my top 3 reasons why now is the perfect time to buy, or why you shouldn't wait for someone else to tell you that now is the time to buy, something like that. Record a 10-second video, pop it into TikTok after it's on Instagram, add a little bit more editing there, download that, share that to your Facebook stories, share that to YouTube Shorts, probably from your Instagram video. We want to avoid repurposing the TikTok watermarks on other social media platforms, just because that can also detract from the engagement in kind of an invisible way. So something to be aware of.
Is it that simple? Did I make it that simple? Like if I worked with you guys, I could record a 30-second video right now, send it to you guys, and you've set everything up and you're distributing it on my behalf.
Yeah, there's a little bit more of like a timeline for that, because obviously we can't do everything in the moment for all of our clients.
Yeah,
but absolutely.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, we like to plan it out a little bit more, just so like we have a content calendar that like it's very strategic. We put a lot of time and effort, and like we want that grid to be good looking, and we want the stories to really flow. So like we plan everything out. So like everything's a little bit more strategic. It's not like things don't need to be posted. Like you create the video and post it like 10 minutes later. Like we actually put a lot of time and effort to like really make it like your own reality story. So it like kind of like tells the story properly.
Yeah, like another example would be if we had a YouTube video that we were going to post and it was like a long form video, we'll cut like a 30-second clip of it, use it on Instagram stories and TikToks as a trailer, and then say like, this is launching in an hour on my YouTube channel. So it's kind of being just like strategic on the timing of when we're going to post on different platforms, using short form video and long form video like cohesively. And yeah, they all go hand in hand. So it's really just mapping it out and how the strategy plays out.
So you guys are for somebody just trying to get into it. You're for somebody trying to take it to the next level. You're for that person that's doing it once a week. You guys would cover all bases basically, and including content, strategy, you name it. You guys are there with it. Cool.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, I think we started off as a social media agency, really like focused on Instagram and Facebook. But now after 2 years, we're seeing how effective marketing on like YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn, we've been doing a lot of email marketing. So now we're really becoming like a full service marketing agency for real estate agents. But our bread and butter is Instagram marketing. Also, just to kind of give a quick plug is that today we're doing 1 month free on a 3-month contract. So I think that's a great deal, kind of our Black Friday deal. We can go over our packages a little bit. So maybe why don't we go over our packages, Amanda, kind of let everybody know like how it works with us and what we provide.
That'd be great. And while you're pulling that up, Amanda, we've got had a question from Phoebe, and she said, do you make agent profiles business accounts? Do you make agent profiles business accounts? Does that make sense to you guys, from Phoebe?
I think what she might be asking is, do you do two separate, like a business account and a personal account? Is that what she means?
I'm not sure. Phoebe, if you're out there, you want to jump in and let us clarify that for us, that'd be great.
Oh, okay. I think the question also might be, does your like account, should you make it a business account on Instagram or Facebook? Okay. And 100% yes. Like, I think they technically call it a creator account. And it's like when you turn on the business profile and it says like in the gray, you know, real estate agent, this is just going to allow you to see insights more clearly. Charlie, I feel like you can speak to this a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. It changes some of the features, but I think the biggest thing is being able to just view those insights, take a look at, you know, what's performing well and what's not for you pretty in-depthly, so that you're able to test out your content and then replicate what performs really well.
Yeah.
Phoebe, I think we got your question answered. And if you guys are out there have questions, throw them in. We'll try and get to them on the chat. So yeah, take us through what you guys are offering. Thank you, Phoebe. Yep.
Amanda, why don't you go over it?
Yeah. So we have 3 standard packages that really all differ based on the amount of times we're posting a month. So, you know, some people want to be posting every single day, and some people think that that's, you know, too much. So that 3 times a week is really good. But these are all Instagram and Facebook. So, you know, posting on Instagram, cross-posting it to Facebook. But all these packages come with your social media manager, which I think is the biggest bulk of it, is having someone that's going to be managing your account for you so that you can stay consistent. We do a social media audit. So this is really where those insights come heavily into play. We really take a look at like what's working for you and what hasn't been working. So that way every month we can look at, you know, okay, so this posted really, really well. Let's continue with the strategy. And maybe the ones that aren't doing so well, like we can reconsider them. And content scheduling. So with real estate agents, brokers, like this is a huge thing, being able to see what's going to go out for the month ahead, so that it's not so much of the day-to-day, you know, back and forth, because realistically, you don't have time for that. And account optimization, just really making sure that the entire page is on brand, you know, consistent. We are graphic designers. So, you know, creating really cool like templates for just listed, or you know, those transaction posts, or even like lifestyle posts, just making sure that you have your own look and feel and we're consistent with it. So all these packages differ based on the amount of times we're posting a month, you know, like 12 to 20 in-feed posts, same thing with stories, and also growth. So what we'll do is actually engage with accounts in your target market that are outside of your following, just to really get your name out there more and expand your reach, and, you know, spark engagement within the community so that more eyeballs are going to be on you and your page. So, you know, getting your name out there so that people come back to you. And this has really, really been a great thing for us. Like a lot of people have seen, you know, 100 to 200 new followers a month, you know, depending on the content and the amount of hours. But another cool thing that we do is also commenting on your post. So every post you do, you'll get a jump start on engagement from us and our network of clients. So 10 to 30 comments per post. And, you know, the algorithms on all of these platforms, they just like eat up engagement. So giving you that jump start is going to post, you know, you on higher on other people's pages and get you more likely seen on the explore page.
When the feeds are coming through, and I'm by far nowhere near an expert, but when the feeds are coming through and you keep seeing the same post over and over again, it's because the comments are jumping through the roof.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
And you guys are saying
you'll promoting it, which is great
provide
too.
10 to 30 comments right from the jump. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, any engagement is great. So we love to give a jump start. And I think like this is a super cool addition to all of these packages. And then
wait, I'll go over the most important thing. Sorry to cut you off. The most important thing out of all of that, you get a monthly meeting with Charlie.
That's
Um,
true. Monthly meeting with Charlie. And you know,
which is honestly, Charlie and I talk social media strategy like all day long. And I think it's great to he really brings that out, like, you know, different ideas, and really gets to kind of like know you, and comes up with content creation ideas. So I think these monthly meetings with him are a little bit different than your social media manager conversations, and he kind of like looks at it from afar. He's looking at your statistics and really, you know, looking at like, you know, where, like what you could be doing, looking at the, you know, the month, what's coming up, the holidays and whatnot. So I think, like, you know, with us, this is a total collaboration. You know, we're here to like work with you to really bring your social media to the next level. You know, they call VAs, or like the new big thing right now. You know, you hire an assistant or a VA, but you know, social media marketing is so important that we feel like having that, you know, social media assistant to really like help you with your you know, with your social media, with your marketing, will really just help you grow your business and become more of a brand, take market share from those OGs, and really just grow your business.
If you guys are like me, you're looking at some of this and going, wait, this account optimization, monthly social audit, you're scratching your head, go, what the hell is that? Don't worry, that's okay. That's what these guys are here for. I think probably one of the great values of the services is that call with Charlie, because just to ask questions around, what does this mean, Charlie? We all need that. It'll be fascinating to me to see as the industry continues to gravitate in this direction. You guys might eventually be replacing real estate coaches. You might need more of a social media strategist instead of a real estate coach, or maybe you'll need both. But I think this is something we got to incorporate into our game for sure. There's a few more questions out there. Let me get to a couple of those really quickly. Hold on one second. And this is from McKinley. Is there any difference in strategy when posting to a team page instead of an individual page? I run our team's page and find it harder to connect with people on there.
Wait I want Charlie to go over this, but I'm a great example of this. That you could follow me at Ryan G Sells NYC. That's my personal, and then I also have the Garson team. Charlie, how do you manage between the two?
Absolutely. That's a really great question, because it's a little bit nuanced and obviously not very common sense. I would say that running a team page is very different. It's strictly a professional page where you're not able to work in, you know, content pillars about your lifestyle or hobbies that you're into, or like family. One of the ways that we're going to boost engagement on like a team profile like that is like highlighting team members through in-feed, and you can do story series, things like that. But for the most part, it's going to be about your team, your services, your listings, what you bring to the table. And so it's going to be very different than
and your market. I think that's a big part of it too.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So very different than the personal page where you're able to tie in a lot of that. But they're able to work, you know, together very well, I would say, where, you know, say Ryan has a lifestyle post for the day and he's posting about his day with his daughter, you know, going around doing these things around New York City. And then Garson team is posting about the just listed, and we're sharing it that way, and driving people to the team page. So I think making sure that you're having some kind of synergy between the two pages is really important. But I hope that answers your question.
Also, just something that we like to do on the team page is, you know, post our successes, our sales, in contract, just listed. And what we do is we tag all the team members. And so then the team members repost it. So we actually use the Garson team Instagram to like get the other team members. It's like content for them. We're always tagging them so they can just reshare it.
I think these graphics that I'm showing are pretty good examples of what we would maybe post on a team page, like really just value add content, you know, your listings, showcasing your listings, and market reports. That could be a huge pillar, you know.
Also, in New York City, we have this, it's called the Ocean Report. It's like the top contract signed over $4 million. So usually we'll pick one listing that like is really special, and we'll like feature that listing. So I think the difference between the team page and the personal is really, you know, it's really all about real estate and and like the value add that you can provide. And you're not going to probably get the engagement or the follower growth that you would personally. You know, people aren't going to be so inclined to like leave comments. That's why it's good with us with the comments. It's a real network that we've built out that kind of helps with the team pages. Where like the personal, you know, you could really post like personally about you, and that's more of a connection. I think like having both and having them different is important, just because it's more of like that professional site.
Got it. And we like to keep it close on time here to respect everybody's time. But a couple of the things, if you guys have any more questions, we'll take a couple more. But a few of the things as we start to put a bow on this here is that comes to mind: authenticity, consistency. We need help in these conversations. One thing that just kind of came to me for a second, it's actually social media is actually a time saver, right? Like what you can comment on somebody's post and it takes 5 seconds. You could have dinner with them, it takes 2 hours, but the comment might have the same impact as a 2-hour dinner in 5 seconds. So it's a time saver. Before we wrap up, guys, is there anything? I think we could probably talk for 3 or 4 more hours. We didn't go deep on strategy. We don't have time to do that here today, but if people want to connect with you guys, anything you think we missed, you want to touch on really quickly, tell us.
I would just say, you know, reach out, have a conversation with us. It doesn't matter where you are in this process. We can help you. You know, we're a marketing agency. Like we're going to actually do the work for you. You know, we can do a lot of different things. We know real estate, we know social media, we can do email marketing, paid ads, you know, marketing on all the platforms that we talked about. Like it could be kind of overwhelming, but I think what we'll try to do is really make it simple and really get to know you. So when we do post for you, it's authentic. And, you know, you got to invest in your business. I think the one thing that most realtors, they think of their business as like, when's my next deal? When's my next deal? And not really like what they're looking at like annually. Like what was your GCI annually? Like if your, you know, GCI was like, you know, $500,000, like you should probably be putting a certain amount towards marketing and then a certain amount towards social media. Like if you really want to like do you want to be a real estate agent or do you want to be an entrepreneur? And if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you know, you have to like run your business like a business, and like investing in your brand is like marketing 101. And that's what we're here to do, is help you build your brand on social media.
Yeah, you're going to get left behind if you don't. That's just the real answer. I mean, let's call it what it is. If you don't get into this playground, you're going to lose business, and you probably already are. And I know it because I was losing business a few years ago, but we changed that. So, well, thank you, Ryan, Amanda, Charlie, and everybody out there watching. Connect with these guys, see how they can help grow your business in 2022. We appreciate the conversation, and have a great Thanksgiving, everyone. Thanks.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving. Love Lab Coats.
So long, guys.
Bye.